Hi, welcome back. This is Trez Ibrahim here with another set of life lessons from The Chosen. As I shared in my previous video, I have been obsessed with The Chosen for about the past year and a half, and I'm constantly quoting The Chosen to share certain life lessons, certain inspiration, really helping my clients and myself to step into the highest version of myself. So I thought, why not shoot these videos to share with everyone some of the life lessons that I found in the profound words and stories within The Chosen. Now, obviously, it comes from the Bible. But as I've said, and one of my clients just quoted again, is the Bible is probably the most or the first or the best personal development book in the world. And so it's no accident that we can gather such wisdom and insight on how to live the most incredible life. So without further ado, let's dive in. Now, this first scene is right off the introduction of season 1, episode 2. And so what you'll find is Jesus is alone. He is out. I mean, I want to say in the desert. It doesn't look like the desert. There's trees all over, but we'll just call it the desert. But he's alone in the desert. And so let's watch him.
Father, glorify me with yourself. Father, speak through me.
Now, in this first scene, we see Jesus. He looks a little distressed. He's out, we'll call it, he's out in the desert, and he says, Father, glorify me with yourself. Speak through me. Now, I imagine this is the time where he spent 40 days and 40 nights fasting in the desert. You can tell there's a little bit of a distress. He doesn't look very comfortable. He is all alone, and it couldn't have been easy for him. And so to me, what I see here is in this span of 40 days and 40 nights, what he is doing is he's spending it alone in silence. And he actually isn't spending it alone, he's spending it with God. And for him, that was a requirement in order to start his ministry. So this is prior to the ministry. Again, I'm not the writer in The Chosen. I don't know where this is placed or what that scene actually depicts. But this is just my musing from Trez. So I hope you enjoy Trez's musings here. So the lesson here from Jesus' time in the desert is the power of solitude and spiritual preparation. You know, again, he's spending time alone in the desert, and this period of deep solitude and deep connection with God highlights the importance of taking time for spiritual preparation and renewal. And there's a few key lessons that I want to highlight. Number one is the necessity of solitude. You know, just as he spent 40 days in the desert, we need to spend periods of time in solitude to reflect on our lives and to connect with our inner selves. We're so bombarded with the outside physical noise and the negativity of the world around us, the fear, the anxiety, all the problems of the world, that in order to connect with a higher power, we have to spend that time in solitude and disconnect with our external world so we can reconnect with our inner world. So solitude allows us to clear our minds from the daily distractions and giving us that clarity and that focus. And we need it also to connect with God. You know, Jesus' prayer is, Father, glorify me with yourself. Speak through me. It emphasizes the need to seek God's presence for our spiritual renewal and guidance. Is the presence within us, is to be connected with that. And again, I apologize if you don't use the word God, I'm going to use the word God here just because this is about God, but connecting with the voice of wisdom within us. Call it intuition, call it the universe. It's that divine inspiration. So time alone with ourselves, in solitude, with our inner selves, with God, helps us receive that divine inspiration and align our actions with our will, align our daily movement and our words. He asked God to speak through him. We need God to speak through us, right? So that's required. And if we have important work, which I will argue all of us have important work to do, this is the foundation for our work. Jesus spent time to prepare for his ministry. So the same thing with us. We need to prepare spiritually before we undertake any significant tasks or challenges, anything that we want to build, and this can include raising children. This can include starting a business. This can include going in and completing a project for work. This can include meeting with an important person. And so anytime we have important work, we need that time in silence. And I'm not gonna, obviously if you could do 40 days, 40 nights, fabulous. But we have this thing called Shabbat or Sunday or one day a week or the seventh day of rest. And so I'm a big fan of taking one day to completely disconnect. And I know everyone will say we're so busy, we're so bombarded, everyone's running around. It's incredible with all the technology that we have these days that are supposed to save us time. Most people find that they run out of time. But I'll tell you, the more time you take to connect with a higher power, with your higher self, with your inner self, the more time you create for yourself during the week and the more productive you will be. Maya Angelou writes Day Away. It's a beautiful story of how she takes one day or she took one day, God rest her soul, one day to just meander through the day. No agenda, doesn't talk to anybody, nothing to do, nothing on her plan. And she just follows wherever the wind takes her. And that's connecting with an inner self. And so spending that time in silence builds that inner strength and resilience and really does give us the strength to face life's challenges. It equips us to face life challenges. So the importance of silence, again, silence allows you to listen deeply to that inner voice, to God's voice, to your inner wisdom, and allows you to gain insights that are not accessible in the noise of the daily life. And it provides us emotional balance. So regular periods of silence helps you balance your emotions and reduces stress and really helps you foster that inner peace. And part of what, again, what we need to create, what I shared a little bit ago, is those daily practices for spiritual health. And this is part of it. So again, just as Shabbat, just as, Sunday provides regular rest and renewal. And I'll tell you, it's not just for the people that are spiritual or going to church. We need to create our own church. We need to have the one day a week where we can disconnect with the outer world and connect with our inner world, and even daily. I'm a big proponent of daily meditation, daily prayer. Daily meditation and prayer are essential for maintaining that spiritual health, that mental health, that emotional health, that connection to our higher self, so that everything we do from then on is done with purpose. And consistency is required. We need the consistent spiritual practice. That creates a strong foundation for personal growth and resilience. And when we're enduring hardship in our life, when we're facing challenges, having that time of pulling back into our inner world and hearing that wisdom allows us to move forward with grace. Because as Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about, he talks about the brainwave patterns. When we're in a place of high stress, we're in high beta. Our brainwave patterns are in high beta. And from that place, anything you do will probably be the wrong thing. You'll probably create more problems. You'll probably make the wrong decision. You'll create more conflict. You'll start to fail at anything you try to do. And so we want to do is slow our brainwave patterns down to alpha. And from alpha, we're connected to a higher wisdom within ourselves. And from there, we can make better decisions. Well, prayer, meditation, silence connects us to that alpha. It slows down the brain waves and almost creates slow motion in our life. I love that scene from The Matrix where Neo's getting bullets thrown at him and he's kind of, swinging from left to right. If you haven't seen the first Matrix, and all these bullets are going past him as he's moving in slow motion all around. And are the bullets in slow motion? No, but he's so centered, he's so quiet, he's so connected to his inner power, his inner self, his inner wisdom, that everything slows down. And so he's able to anticipate the danger that's coming at him, and he's able to move around it. And so wouldn't it be wonderful if we can slow life down and we can anticipate all these things being thrown at us so that we can start to respond in a powerful way rather than react? And that's what that silence and solitude does. And one of the things I want to also mention in this scene is it couldn't have been easy for Jesus to fast for 40 days and 40 nights. And again, I'm not saying that this is what the scene is talking about, but it does seem like he has experienced some kind of hardship. It's not comfortable for him. It couldn't have been easy. And so what is the importance of endurance, enduring some sense of hardship? It was necessary for him. We must endure challenges and use them as opportunities for growth and spiritual understanding. That's where we kind of test our faith. We test our strength. That's where we learn to trust in a higher power and surrender. Because again, I could, if I'm in the midst of a storm, there's a lot of things going on. I could say, I don't have time to rest. I don't have time to take a day off. I don't have time to meditate this morning. Let me just run in there and take care of problems. And what I'm doing is I'm relying on my own ego self, my lower self. I'm trying to get control of everything. And so when we endure hardship, we learn to trust and sit back, trust that the difficulties we face during those periods are how we connect to God. It's part of God's plan to prepare us for greater things. It's part of our need to start to surrender and know that it's not fully up to me. I'm not acting alone. I don't have to control everything because, again, I have something that's more powerful behind me. So I encourage you to really take to heart this lesson. I know it's a short clip, but it's so profound, of spending that time in silence and solitude. And what we'll find in lots of these episodes is where Jesus does constantly and consistently take time to connect with God. Oftentimes you'll see the disciples like, where's Jesus? And they're like, I don't know. He went off by himself. And he'll come back and they're like, where were you? And he's like, I was connecting with God. I was communing with God. And so he requires that in order to maintain that connection. So it's important to be consistent and to commit to the practice, to be patient and persistent, and embrace the journey, knowing that it leads to a deeper, again, connection and purpose. Use that time to, as we connect to God, to release all the stuff we're holding on to release the old patterns and burdens, to release the pain and the suffering, to ask God to help us to forgive people who've hurt us, to ask God for forgiveness, to allow God's love and guidance to transform you. So I'm going to leave it here. I hope you enjoyed this life lesson from The Chosen. Please like, share, subscribe, comment below. Just say hi. Let me know you're here. Let me know if you'd like me to make more of these. And we'll see you soon. Lots of love. Bye-bye.